Happiness has no expiration date. So I'm here hanging out, doing some work in the bedroom, and I saw this really cool feature on this website called Social Blade. It does predictions for YouTube channels, and it says that if I continue my current trajectory, that I will hit 1,000 subscribers around October 15th, 2020. And not only that, it says that I could hit 100,000 in 5 years if I keep going along the current path, which is pretty exciting to me.
It's September 20th after 10 o'clock, and I just hit 888 followers.
Y'all better not be making fun of my socks because it's cold and we have not switched on the heat yet. So this is what I look like. I do have a nice dress on underneath, but you can't see it. What's up, fam, and welcome back to my channel. Today is so special because we recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our channel, and I wanted to do a little Q&A session to celebrate. No holds barred, and I reached out on Instagram, on my new community tab on YouTube, and through my email list, and I asked, what questions do you have about decluttering, minimalism, or just personal questions that you wanted to ask me? So I've got your questions, I've got them on a phone in front of me, and today I'm going to answer all of them right now. All right, so let's open that up. I've got my phone down here in front of me, so if you see me glancing down, it's because I'm checking your questions. I got some questions about minimalism, decluttering, and also some personal questions, and I am not afraid to answer any of them, so let's dive right in. I tried to kind of group the questions into similar groups so I could hopefully answer multiple people's questions at once. So, was it hard to move to a new country? Last year we moved to Germany, and before that, I have also lived as an expat in China. We lived in Shanghai for 2 years. And yes, it's very hard to move to a new country. It helps if you speak the language. I do speak Chinese, and that helped a lot when we moved to China. We moved to China when my son was 3 months old. There was some adjusting to do, but I really like Chinese culture. I really liked the language, and I found it pretty easy to acclimate. I think it was harder adjusting to being a new mom than it was to being in a new country. Now, as far as Germany, because I don't speak German yet, it's different. It's very different. I definitely love Germany. Life is so much slower here, and I can really appreciate a more simple lifestyle with less hustle and bustle. Talking about just culture shock and logistics, planning a move to a different country, yes, it was very difficult, especially finding housing. We're so happy that we finally moved into our beautiful new house, and I hope to share a tour of our full minimalist home soon. So if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go down and hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure to ring the bell so that you get notified when I share anything new right away. Next question, how did I learn Chinese? 很多人以为是我先生教我，他一点耐心都没有，他真的没有耐心跟我讲普通话。其实他会说4个语言，普通话是他最差的。I would listen in my car on the way to my work, which was as a speech language pathologist in a hospital at that time, and it was over an hour and a half each way. And so I had a lot of study time in my car just listening. And I used Pimsleur. I really liked Pimsleur for Chinese. I did not like Rosetta Stone. I would be willing to try Rosetta Stone again for German, but I found for Chinese, Rosetta Stone just didn't really work well for me. The next question is, do you plan on learning German? Yes, I do plan on learning German, and in fact, my college roommate just had a ton of these language learning CDs, and she gave them all to me. And recently I was decluttering my external hard drive, and I found my Pimsleur Germans. It was actually the plan to start studying a couple months ago here, but unfortunately, because of the I just don't feel comfortable going to a school to study. And I think actually, since I've taught myself Chinese, I can be more efficient studying myself at home. How old are your kids? My older son, who we call 哥哥, which means older brother in Chinese, he is 7 years old. And then the younger brother, who we call 弟弟, that means younger brother in Chinese, he is 5 years old. They are so cute and so very stinky. They are super high energy kids. Is there anything that you miss from the USA? There are certain things that I miss, especially like the fact that you can't go out to stores on Sundays. Stores are closed in Germany on Sundays. One time I remembered that I didn't have pull-ups 15 minutes before the stores were closing on Saturday, and I had to sprint to the grocery store to grab pull-ups really quick because I knew it wasn't gonna be open the next day. So that's a little bit tough. Also, I miss good pizza. Oh my God, I miss good pizza. Do you know in Germany, they just like throw salad on top of pizza? Chicago deep dish style pizza. I'm gonna start drooling. I miss good pizza and good burgers. Do I have any hobbies? I would say that now my biggest hobby and my most exciting hobby is creating YouTube videos because I'm having so much fun learning how to shoot videos, how to edit videos, how to make them fun. That's definitely not something that is natural to me as a mother and as someone who's trying to now create YouTube videos. I just don't have a lot of extra time for hobbies right now. I really need to focus in on German and learning German. So that's gonna be my goal for 2021. It kind of fell through the floorboards 2020, didn't everything. How old am I? So I am 37 years old. I think it's interesting starting a YouTube channel as a 37-year-old woman because most of the people that I see starting YouTube channels, they're really young. And I definitely feel a little bit out of place compared to all of these younger people starting YouTube channels. I have seen women my age who have YouTube channels, but a lot of them started YouTube channels a long time ago. Like I think Brittany Vasseur, I don't know how to say her last name. Of course, Jenna Marbles, you know, she started like 10 years ago or something. So a lot of the channels of YouTubers that are my age started way before me. I also recently watched a very interesting video that was by a YouTuber named Sorel Amour, and I will link it down below. But she is only 31 and she's gorgeous, by the way. And she had gotten a comment on one of her videos about how she was learning to surf, commenting about, oh, people your age.
I remember being about 25 and noticing that this was something that one day I will have to deal with and I'll have to address and fight against. Around that time in my life, I started seeing these underlying subtle stabs or messages subliminally or very blatantly about age and how being above a certain age grade makes you somewhat incompetent or lame or incapable or etc, insert word here. A few days ago, I released my video about surfing and how I learned to surf within 14 days. And I received a comment which I didn't expect to receive anytime soon, but I was bracing myself. And it said something along the lines of, wow, it's amazing that you learned so fast. Usually when I teach people your age, they don't pick it up as quickly. People your age.
And so she addressed this idea of your age and what age do women start to get discriminated against as far as being too old to do something, or at least thought of as too old to do something. And I really enjoyed that video. Like I said, I'll link it down below for you to look at. But my feeling on age is you're never too old to do something that's going to make your life better. Happiness has no expiration date. That's some good tea. Just kidding, it's coffee. And it was like that for me with decluttering. It was like that for me with minimalism. It's like that now with learning German at age 37, moving to a different country. There are so many different ways that I'm challenging myself every single day, every single year. And I never want to stop learning and growing and becoming better at things. Oh, That's actually a good segue into our next question, which is, what did you have the hardest time decluttering? I had a lot of sentimental clutter left behind by the deaths of not only my parents, but many, many, many loved ones. And for me, sentimental clutter is definitely a huge area that I have struggled with, and also the most important area that I needed to overcome as a minimalist who has suffered losses and become a hoarder, an emotional hoarder as a result. And then I also struggle a lot with digital clutter. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna show you this. Can you see this? I've got 5,000 unread emails because I get a lot of emails as a blogger, as a YouTuber, and I really, really, really need to do a digital decluttering. That's on the to-do list for this year. The next question is, do you regret decluttering anything? And I've gotten this question a lot, and I personally have not decluttered anything that I have regretted, but I do know people who have regretted decluttering things. And that's why in my video about the biggest decluttering mistakes, I actually talk about how you should give yourself time, especially if you're someone who has a lot of sentimental items and is very attached to things. It's not like clothing where, yeah, you can go out and buy new shoes or you can buy a new pair of pants. But if that item is something special that's left behind from someone else, or it reminds you of a special memory, take your time and think about it, and don't feel like you have to declutter something just because other people are telling you to get rid of your clutter. So the next question is, what was the hardest thing you've ever had to get rid of? I think a lot of my mother's things were really, really hard for me to get rid of. And specifically, I remember in my decluttering video, there was a clutch that I found that was hers that went inside her purse. It was a small white clutch. And I remember in this video, at that time I was trying to tape and record my decluttering journey, doing all this stuff. And I found her clutch and I looked inside and there was a receipt with like handwritten notes from her. It was only a week or a couple weeks before she had died, and she had been shopping for clothing for me. That, obviously I didn't really want to keep that. That's not a happy memory for me. I had been perfectly fine until that moment not having that note, those items, those things. It's not something I wanted to carry with me into the future, but seeing it brought out a lot of emotions for me. And so I just started like crying my eyes out. And that's also the point when I decided I wasn't going to video record any of it anymore. I was like, nope, I can't do this. I can't keep crying my eyes out on video. I did not have the emotional bandwidth needed to go through all of that clutter and just be constantly emotional about it in front of a camera every single day while we were trying to coordinate a move overseas. At that point, I just took a few pictures and I was like, that's it. Now I wish I had recorded more because I know that you guys do find it helpful. I promise that now I won't skip over those things in the future, and that's why I'm very honest about the emotions that I feel. The next question is, how did I become a minimalist? So I'm actually not gonna answer this question in a video because I'm gonna do an entire video on the whole process. So definitely look forward to that in the future. But I think you've probably figured out I was an emotional hoarder and I had a lot of clutter, but we're gonna go through that more in a future video. I love this question. Is it harder to be a minimalist with kids? I was not a minimalist without kids, so I cannot give you both sides of the story. I feel like it is harder because not only do you have your stuff, your clutter, your emotions, your things, but then you also add in children and it makes it a little bit more difficult. And children generally need a lot more things. I remember when we had our first son, we had to get a lot of stuff. You know, they were about ready to start drilling and stuff. We're gonna move to a different room. We have some guys that are coming to help hang the curtains today, so I guess we'll go into my kids' room and I'll sit on the beanbag chair here. Y'all, mom life, wife life, life in general, and let's roll with the punches and continue this here. What question were we at? So most of the questions were just like a little snippet of a question here and there, but one of my longest fans sent me an email that was really long. I'm gonna ask her if it's okay with her, but I wanna share what she wrote because I feel like this could help a lot of people, and it's how I myself have felt in the past. She reintroduces herself to me every time she writes me an email, which is so funny because I promise, Robin, I know exactly who you are. I always remember you. Of course I remember you. So she wrote, would you elaborate further on the subject of decluttering to someone who has a lot to declutter because they have sentimental and nice large antique furniture they have inherited from their mom, great aunt, and grandmother. Wow, so she has 3 people that she's inherited clutter from, and they are overwhelmed with the hugeness of the project. I know I don't want to keep everything, but the thought of having to decide on what to sell and then research the pricing of each item and then list the item and run to the post office to ship it and everything just makes me want to continue procrastinating on doing this job of decluttering. You've already discussed getting rid of sentimental items, but I have a lot of antique items that are large and I don't know about getting them appraised or what. I'm paying monthly for a storage unit and have been for 6 years now. Do I just donate everything? That seems so sad to think that they would be at a thrift store with all the other junk. I've already donated lots of clothing and smaller household things, but these larger items I just don't know what to do with. My house isn't large enough to hold them all, and the 4 sofas all need to be reupholstered. That's almost as expensive to buy the item new. It's like a black cloud that constantly weighs me down. I feel like I could have wrote this myself years ago. I don't want to cry about this. You've probably already addressed this issue. Can you send me a link? No, I don't think I've addressed this issue well enough, and I'm going to answer you directly. Robin, I feel like I could have written this email myself years ago. As someone who inherited a lot of stuff from my dead parents, from grandparents, from loved ones, it's hard. And the fact that you have been renting a storage unit and procrastinating about it for 6 years, that's really hard. I feel for you. And I feel that your situation is very, very, very common. It is very hard. And there is no one-size-fits-all solution. But the fact that you've been renting a storage unit for 6 years and it feels like a black cloud weighing you down, and the fact that it's just so overwhelming, and also how you mentioned that it would cost someone just as much to reupholster the thing as it would to be getting new, it makes me think that you're probably to the point where you just need to let go and yes, donate them. I saw this really good video by the Minimal Mom the other day. She has had some critical comments about how much stuff she's getting rid of, and she responded to those the best way possible by saying, I do not put stuff above myself or my family. I do not put stuff above people. And I thought, wow, that is such a perfect way to phrase it. Yeah, it might feel sad to get rid of them, but I think it's also sad if they just sit there and deteriorate in your storage unit, in your closet, in your garage, wherever it is. This is my opinion, obviously, and other people can chime in below with what they think and maybe give Robin support, but at this point, it sounds like it's too much and too overwhelming to deal with, and it's weighing you down mentally, which can have an effect on you physically. And at that point, I would say maybe it's time to just let go of it. It is absolutely a lot of work to take an item, research that item, you know, take photographs of the item, to list it online, to sell it, to take it to the post office, to box it up for shipping, all of that stuff. It takes time.
Hey everyone, after I went back and checked my 5,000 unread emails, I saw that my friends, Rob and Melissa, who run the website Flea Market Flipper, are having their annual Christmas challenge. And if anyone else is struggling like Robin about what they should sell, how much can they make for it, maybe you would like to participate in this challenge because they are pros at flipping. I did it 2 years ago. It was absolutely wonderful. And Robin's story reminded me of another family that the mother had lost her husband, and they had a 7,000 square foot building absolutely stuffed to the brim with equipment and other things she didn't know what to do with, and she was able to make like $50,000. So maybe you want to check that out. I will put the link down in the description below. Rob and Melissa are absolutely amazing. They've been flipping for over 20 years and they are pros, and they are offering this totally, absolutely 100% free.
So I really hoped that this little session helped. You know, like I said, comment below with your opinions, and we can come and give you our tips and support you, and everyone can share their experiences. I would absolutely love that, because I really do feel like we are a family and we can help each other get through this together. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. In case you didn't know, because I certainly didn't know this before I started a YouTube channel, it really helps me as a creator when you hit the like button and you subscribe, because it shows that to YouTube that my videos matter, and I hope that they matter. I hope that it matters to you. It sure does matter a lot to me. And I hope to help a lot of other people move through the clutter in their life so that they can finally find happiness. I do hope that I'll see you around again. Take care. Bye-bye.